Visalia Unified School District is very important to us at Fresno State, and now that we have a campus, but we have a guest that's joined us, and that's Mr. Jesse Farias, and he's actually from one of your high schools, if I'm not mistaken. Jess, are you there?
Yes. Hey, Rick. How you doing?
Yeah. Hi, Jesse. Hi. I like your bulldog there.
That's right. Bulldog born.
So Mr. Farias is going to, we're going to talk to him about the same pathway that many of you have taken, are taking right now. And as you see from Mr. Farias, he's one of the biggest bulldog fans you could find in the area. Very big, big. Okay. So what I'm going to do is share our information, and Miss Leveren's going to make me the co-host so I can share that right now. I think I got it right. Let's see. Let's see. Let me make sure I'm up and going before I share. Okay. We only have a few slides today, but we are going to, let's see.
You're all set for the share screen.
Thank you. Okay. I think you could see it here. And I'm sorry I have to do this, but we're going to go right now and start from the beginning. Okay, give me just a second. We're going to end that right now. Okay, I am going to have to share a third screen. Give me just 1 second.
No problem. Mr. Farias, what high school did you go to?
Hi. Yes. So I went to Golden West High School. Actually, I'm an alum of Golden West High. So I was there some time ago. I still have all my family there. I actually have family members that have attended all Visalia Unified schools. So yeah, so I'm pretty well vested. Most of my family are still there, and I actually serve as the liaison to the College of Social Science, the College of Social Sciences and Kremen School of Education and Human Development. But I'm also the liaison to the Fresno State Visalia campus. So I meet with students. Yep, whoop whoop, go Blazers! Yeah, so Fresno State Visalia campus. So if you're interested in taking classes at the Fresno State Visalia campus, I'm kind of like one of your point of contacts to help students with that. I'm also the I essentially assist students. I'm the recruitment counselor for the Liberal Studies ITEP program at the Fresno State Visalia campus. So that's the Integrated Teacher Education Program. So I actually, literally, I was running a little behind because I was working with the student who's transferring from COS and is looking to attend that, to enroll into that particular program. So been working very closely with a lot of my folks from Visalia, but also surrounding communities. So Tulare County, Kings County, you know, even down in Kern County. So yeah, I'm a Visalia boy, and all my family's still there. So I take a tremendous amount of pride of helping and serving my community. So
am I allowed to ask what year you graduated from Golden West?
Some time ago. Some time ago. Yeah.
And, you know, from the teenage perspective, quite honestly, anyone over 20 is old. So
yeah, that's why I say some time ago.
Yeah, it's all kind of blends in there.
Yeah.
What kinds of things did you participate in high school?
Great question. So I participated in Avid. I played sports. I was in various sports, varsity lettered for 3 years, or 2-3 years, varsity lettered. But I've participated in different events on campus, from presentations to different clubs, and so just try to get involved as much as I could in high school. It really did help me out a lot. It introduced me to new areas that I may have not ever been exposed to. But I try to stay connected with folks and develop a support team that would help me get to my next goal, which was to essentially obtain a bachelor's degree, as I knew it was a great way for me to get on to the next phase of my life. So I went to Fresno State. I chose Fresno State from the very beginning. Rick mentioned about you know, my pride in Fresno State, and I've always of course loved the athletics, the football and basketball, and those were the great golden times and still are today. But it was not too far of a university for me. I did get accepted to other universities, but it wasn't that far of a university for me to commute if I needed to. So I actually commuted for a little bit. I moved up here initially and then had to go back and live with family and take care of some family responsibilities, and then moved back and stayed in Fresno. And I've actually lived in Fresno ever since I left Visalia. So, but one of the main reasons was I was close to home, close enough to home. It's like an arm's length. I always tell students it's an arm's length. It takes me 40 minutes to get home to Visalia if I needed an emergency or something were to happen from family wise.
Very good.
Yeah.
Hey, before I hand it over to Rick, we already have a great question in the Q&A, and it says, can you transfer to a UC after taking prereqs at Fresno State and be able to transfer with those prereqs done as well? Typically, we would advise you to actually start at a community college and then transfer to the UC. It's much more difficult to transfer from a four-year college to another four-year college, because basically, if you're at a four-year college and you're trying to transfer to another four-year college, that four-year college says, well, you have somewhere where you can finish your bachelor's degree. As opposed to being at a community college, they know you can't finish your bachelor's degree at a community college, so they're more likely to take on those students. So typically, I find it, and I've heard, and maybe Rick can jump in here too, that it's much more difficult to transfer from a four-year to another four-year as opposed to community college to a four-year college. Would you agree, Rick?
Absolutely, I do agree. Here's why: is because if you take what is it, Mr. Farias, Jesse? What's the English at COS?
English
one.
English 1. See, English 1 is articulated to our English 10 at Fresno State. That means it's equivalent to it, and it means that we have no issue. We already did all the work, so we know that that's an equivalent. That's articulated class. Okay, with the UCs, we don't have those articulation agreements. So you might take an English class at the UC, and it might not count for one of the English for the requirements to transfer to Fresno State. And so same thing with any topic, it's just not English. So there's no articulation.
Yeah, typically you see those articulation agreements between the community college and the four-year college. So you can go to a community college and do what's called the IGETC. And it lays out exactly what classes you have to take at the community college in order to transfer to a four-year college. They also have there's also a similar program to transfer to the CSUs, but the UCs and CSUs do not have those agreements amongst themselves. So I would start out at a community college and transfer. It would be your better route. So Rick, I'm going to back out now and let you do your thing because you do it great.
Okay, and can you make Jesse also the co-host, because
Absolutely.
He's going to show some websites here. Okay, Jesse, are you seeing the PowerPoint or are you seeing my notes? Okay, yep. Just the PowerPoint, great. Okay, well, welcome everyone. You see our information here, which is very important. And we're going to talk about, Mr. Farias is going to explain the open house that we have and how to register for the open house, and also how to make appointments with us. Now, it's been a pleasure working with Mr. Farias, and we're going to continue working together because he makes a great team member, and he actually leads the area of communications, and he does our website among counseling. So we're going to talk about those features or those events and I'm just going to the chat, make sure that everybody put in their major and their school. Let's see. We have environmental science, pre-med so far, and let's just address those right now, and then we're going to talk to Mr. Farias about his approach to higher education and his expertise in the two majors. He has two colleges at Fresno State. We're going to explain that in just a moment. Pre-med, so that's biology. And Joseph, you want to work with Dr. Jason Bush here at Fresno State because he is doing cancer research, and half of his students get into med school, the other half get into a PhD program or a master's program. So we are actually doing cancer research at the lower division level.
Rick, can I add to that? If you are interested in doing pre-med, a very unique program that you should consider as well is biomedical physics. Yes, it's a very unique program. It's actually one of the very few in the country that's offered at an undergraduate level. And biomedical physics deals with the physics behind medicine. So what that means is it's actually like the instruments, like MRIs, for example. If Rick mentioned cancer research, it's the instruments that are used to assist with cancer, not only cancer research, but cancer support for patients as well. So it's very important. I know, working with students in Visalia, I have some students that tell me, I want to be an ultrasound tech. Okay, cool. Ultrasound tech is great. That's a technician actually uses the instrument to get the device to work and to do what it's supposed to do. But a biomedical physicist is concerned about putting that instrument together to ensure that it is working how it's supposed to be working, and not only supporting the researcher or the lab, or supporting the doctor that's working on that patient. So it's a very unique program. I would encourage you to look into that as well. It's called biomedical physics, because one of the things that I tell students about medical school as well is that you want to be able to keep your application out there. You want your application to stand out from the rest of the pack. And so if there's very few programs out there in the country that offer this type of programming, maybe it's something that could assist you along the way.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Farias. In fact, my audiologist is from Fresno State. So there's other majors that you might want to consider in helping people medically in the medical field, that is, and you're going to find that not only there's kinesiology, there's even recreation therapy, which is not medicine, but contributes. And then we have the doctorate in physical therapy. But we have if you do the research and if you go into the cures, that stands for something that's research-based classes here at Fresno State in the biology department. And you can really get, the key thing for you if you're going into medicine is getting to the lab and the undergraduate level and doing the research. There's a lot of research at Fresno State. We just talked about Dr. Jason Bush. There's research in all of the majors in the College of Science and Math have research centers. So from ichthyology, from fish to cancer, that's what we have at Fresno State. It's very, go to the website and look under the College of Science and Math. In fact, I am going to go to this in a minute, and Mr. Farias is going to explain how the structure of a university works. But we're going to talk about environmental sciences. We do solid earth, geology, oceans, atmosphere, and working towards any type of, it's an interdisciplinary subject. So what that means is that it's just not environmental class. There's biology classes, there's chemistry classes, there are physics classes involved, because it all works together. And we go to the coast, we go up in the Sierra. In fact, there's one class that goes to all 3 national parks, and there's one that goes to Death Valley on the minerals. So there's a lot of research. I don't know if you've ever been to Death Valley, but it's an amazing place. I have a degree in geography. The desert is amazing. The ecosystem there, I love the mountains, I love the ocean, I love the desert. And so many people pick, I don't pick, because they're all unique ecosystems. The valley we live in is a very unique ecosystem. So take a look at that website. There's nothing but hands-on and research there. And also we have the bond program for both pre-med environmental sciences. And the bond program is a program that you can come into, and Dr. Aviso will see if you qualify, and it involves your family. Your family actually gets involved in supporting you and explaining what you're doing at the university level and how to support your child, because you're going to be talking about things that maybe your parents don't know what they are. I remember when I was a geography major, it was fun learning about stuff and then sharing that with my family. But you're a science major, so there's going to be some support that you're going to need. And the bond program highlights to parents how to support their child through education. Graphic design, another favorite. We had, I remember when Mr. Farias and I were touring a student that was a graphic design student. And one of the things that about graphic design is that you want to make sure that you actually copyright your work. You can do that now. And to make a long story short, you go online and look at it, but you certify mail and you sign it a certain way, and you could actually copyright some of your logos, some of your any type of design. It actually serves for seven years, and I could actually, if you contact me, I could show you how to do that. But yeah, go look it up and you'll find it just as fast. Graphic design is it really has to do with how good you are and how unique you are. So we had a student that was a graphic design major, and then we encouraged him, remember that, Mr. Farias, to go into Latin American studies or different cultures, because now you can appeal to different cultures in your designs. So that was a great minor for them. And also, I can't talk about graphic design without bringing out the topic of semiotics. Semiotics is what images and colors mean, symbols and colors mean. And just think, if you look at I use this example. If you look at Mr. Farias' video right now, just think if the bulldog was light blue, it'll mean something else. That's called semiotics. And I studied semiotics in my program. And for instance, why are the freeway signs green? And it's all related to people getting that message out. So it's what symbols and colors mean. Amazing topic, and that's Dr. Valencia, actually. And let's see. Oh yeah, especially, yes. And thank you, Mr. Farias. Just put in the request for the appointment in our chat. Okay. So I think that's all we have for right now. If you have other majors you want us to talk about, you can. But remember this, is that populations grow. Budgets also tend to grow. There might be some cutbacks in certain budgets, but they tend to grow. We need more schools. We need more business. We need, there's always opportunity as populations grow in just about any field. Some of them that don't involve any technology are not around from 20 years ago or 10 years ago. But if you study something, you always have to keep on the cusp of the new technology, of the new theories and so forth. So your degree doesn't end. The degree just gives you the platform for continual learning throughout your life. Okay. My degree is in my bachelor's is in geography, and my master's is in instructional technology, how to use technology for learning. Okay, and that's not everything I wanted to learn about. That does not represent all my interests. That's just my degree. I have plenty of other interests that I study, that I keep on referring back to, and so forth. So don't think that one degree is going to cover all your interests. Many people go back to school for many different things. Okay. All right. Anything to add, Mr. Farias?
No.
Okay.
It's all great information.
Okay. So I'm going to ask Mr. Farias some questions, and being from Visalia and taking the same pathway you've taken, and some of them he elaborated on, but we're also going to ask him some counseling questions. And also, Mr. Farias played a key role in establishing our campus in Visalia, actually. So let's start off with some personal, and then we'll get to some of your work, okay? So you went to Redwood High School.
Golden West High School.
Golden West, I'm sorry, Golden West. Of course, I'm going to get corrected on that. Okay. Yep. So I went to high school in Fresno. So what is the rivalries in Visalia like?
Oh man, well, if you're a Golden, well, prior to that, it was always all the city was rivals, you know, when it came to athletics. But Golden West, you know, Redwood Mountain, you always have the cowhide, right? That's like the main one. So I know our cowhide folks are out there. I know this year is kind of a unique year. I think it'll be the first time in, I can't think of how many number of years, hundreds of years, I'm sure, that the cowhide game may not be played, but maybe at a later date. But that was always a game to go to. That's a big rivalry. As of recent, since El Diamante High School was established, you know, in the latter 2000s, you have the Blazing, the Saddle game as well. So that's another big rivalry there in Visalia. And then, you know, of course, you have a few others along the way, but those are the kind of like the main rivalry kind of for football. But then you also have even our bands. The bands even compete. You know, like that's a big one. Schools compete against one another. So, but it's all within great pride and supporting one another along the way too, and understanding where we're coming from.
Great, thank you. Now, I noticed. I know that your family is embedded in Visalia, and I know they even had businesses and so forth, and staying close to home. Of course, you don't have to have a business stay close to home, but how important was that for you to rely on your family?
Well, it's really important. You know, it definitely comes from, you know, it's part of the fabric of who I am as an individual, and the importance of family plays a role in a lot of decision making. And I know, like a lot of you, some of you, you're also going to have that you know, as part of your decision making as to which school you would like to attend. I know some of you may already be considering maybe looking to transfer in. You know, you're going to stay at COS. You know, the example earlier about, you know, a student going to a 4-year then to a UC. You know, working with a lot of students from COS, working with a lot of students from Visalia area high schools. I've talked to numerous families and so forth, and a lot of time the most common, you know, is that they would like, you know, to stay close to home. They like to stay close to home, but not too far away. So it's kind of an important factor when deciding the campus you like to attend. So you know, I know for many of our folks too, you also have other CSUs that you're looking to apply to. I can tell you that with Fresno State, one of the biggest differences that I can think of, you know, that helped me out, you know, again, from my own personal experience is that Fresno State has a tremendous amount of support and resources for you. They have a tremendous amount of support in the context of not only our Learning Resource Center, but also the student cupboard, the V-Line bus from Visalia to Fresno, being able to take the possibility of taking classes at the Fresno State Visalia campus once you are in junior standing. We're talking resources in the context of, you know, honors programs, scholarships. If you apply for scholarships, you know, there's a lot of great resources along the way. Clothing closet, just to kind of name a few. I mean, these are all great resources, but the one that's really, you know, important is the academic. You know, you're meeting with your advisors. You have mandatory advising. You have your faculty advisor. You have a career advisor that you can go to for information. There's always someone that's willing to help you out here, and willing to you know, serve and along with you. So you know, that's one thing that helped me make a decision in choosing Fresno State. You know, partly and I can tell you this, you know, back then we didn't have as many resources as you all have now. There was very limited resources back then, and Rick talked about that budgeting and funding and so forth earlier. But now in today's you know, climate, I think that the resources are only going to keep getting hopefully better and a lot more exciting, a lot more connectedness in the future. I know right now it doesn't feel that way just because, well, it's 2020, you know, and in 2020 it's just been that, you know, but eventually we'll get back to where things could go, and we'll figure all that out. But we're still striving and helping students stay connected. We had a South Valley, you know, our new student convocation was down. We took that on the road this year. We were down in Visalia at the Visalia campus. Students drove by, picked up their Fresno State swag. We were up in Merced. So we're up and down the valley, you know, trying to connect with our community, because we know how important you all are. Because when you hear that pride of the valley, you know, you watch those videos, you watch those commercials, I mean, you really are. You are pride of our valley. You are that. You know, Rick may have mentioned in the past, or if you've attended in the past some of these sessions, you heard about the not only the pride of the valley, but all the graduation rates, the rankings. Excuse me. Those rankings, I tell people all the time, that's you. That's all you. That and how much you want to strive. I mean, that's all us working together, and you're part of that. And so we want you to be a part of that here at Fresno State. We not only want you to be a part of it, we want your family to be a part of it as well. We have large commencement ceremonies. We have, not only for you, but for your family to celebrate. We have cultural celebrations as well. So we have pride celebrations. We have all kinds of different ways to get you connected. We're a really diverse community, and there's no greater than diversity than at Fresno State. It's in our name, And so, so to answer your question, I know it's kind of long, but it's just like I wanted to share that with you because it was all, I just want to press with you that this is so important. That your next step is so critical and so important. It will definitely tell a lot going forward. I know, but I'll stop there, Rick, so you can keep asking questions. But I was just going to keep going on a few other items. But
well, I know, Jesse, and when he gets on a roll, we count it because he's so proud. That's fine with me. He can have as much time as you want. You mentioned some of the support that we have, and Fresno State being ranked. Well, one testament to that is our president, Dr. Castro, who's now the chancellor-select, will be running all the 23 campuses. And can you talk about, I know you touched base on some of those graduation rates and some of the food, but maybe reiterates what makes Dr. Castro such a great president, and what do you expect from him as a chancellor of the CSU, which is the largest, correct? The largest college system in the country.
Yep, largest public university system in the country. That's right. What Dr. Castro really symbolized to me is, and again, this is just to me and my own personal perspective, is that, a lot of times, you hear about the San Joaquin Valley is kind of, they really don't know what is happening in the San Joaquin Valley, right? Like, it's kind of like the Valley, the Central Valley, it's just we're kind of there. Everyone kind of like Highway 99, you pass through it, gets you to the Grapevine, we're right in the middle between the Bay and Southern California. But what Dr. Castro is really has done for us is really elevated the Central Valley to not only to just the local level, but we're talking the national level now. Local meaning state. So Dr. Castro is a great symbol of what all of us can accomplish if, by opportunity. I mean, he talks about it all the time about, if he hadn't met with a counselor, he hadn't attended an event like similar to this, right? Participating and connecting, with counselors to help him along the way and be able to get to UC Berkeley and some of those UC campuses. The CSUs. Dr. White is an alumni. Dr. White is the chancellor now, right? And he's an alumni from Fresno State. So there's a lot of, I always say it's like a hidden gem in a way, but it's not really. We're from here. We get it. We're from, we work hard. We have that grit, and we strive. And what's great about what Dr. Castro does is for us is that he's now elevated us to a new level. And now the Valley hopefully is going to get looked at a little differently. I see this in our student profiles as well. More students wanting to apply from outside the area to Fresno State. You see it from students from the Central Valley looking to apply outside the Central Valley as well. But what we see too is we see a good number, a solid number, a great number of students staying locally and only enhancing our profile because you don't have to go very far for that national to attend that school. You're going to get a little bit of everything. You're going to get a little bit of everything. You're going to get a little bit of the college athletic environment, the college experience. You're going to get the student life experience. You're going to have all the great resources, and you don't have to go very far. So Dr. Castro, I believe, really did elevate not only Fresno State, but elevated our community. And and him being recognized, me from Hanford. We're talking about, you guys are in Visalia, but I mean, Hanford is only 18 minutes away. Like, it's not very far. And so it could be any one of you. It could be any one of us. It could be any one of you, your classmates, right? And I'm really excited for him and for his family, and really excited at what he's going to hopefully help bring to us in our community as the chancellor of the largest public university system in the country. It's amazing. So I'm really excited for him, and I'm really excited for our community, because that's a symbol, right? That's a great symbol that where we're going in our community.
And Jesse, I know that you have some statistics, and where Fresno State was one of the few to actually increase enrollment during the fall of all universities. Do you want to speak to that?
Yeah, so Fresno State this last year had the largest enrollment class. Over 25,000 students are enrolled at Fresno State right now. One thing I always tell students is that, they always ask me, like, well, what's the GPA criteria, or what's the student, what student do you guys take? I mean, all your A through G plays a big role. Your GPA plays a huge role as well. You definitely have to look at the first-time freshman or the freshman selection page. And we can show you where that is on our website to see what GPA criteria were essentially for each major. This year, it's going to be a very unique year, but the GPAs play a significant role. But one thing that I mentioned earlier about the graduation rate performance, that we're ranked, in the top, Washington Monthly has us in the top, 25, which is amazing, because, I mean, my goodness, they're looking at Ivy League schools and other UC schools and these big name schools, and we're right next to them. Along the matter of fact, we're the only CSU in the that entire list in the top 30 to be represented. And so I tell students this. I tell them that your GPA, your A through G matters, and it's very important to do your research early on so that you know what major you want to apply to. But give yourself an opportunity. Just apply. You get to choose an alternate major. You can still get an opportunity to get into the university. But that graduation rate performance is so important for us, because it's going to elevate us. It's going to, like I mentioned earlier, Dr. Castro's elevated us. It's going to elevate your profile as well. We had over 6,000 students last year graduate. Over 6,000 students graduate, which gave us an opportunity to enroll more students this last year. That's so important, because more students graduate, more students enroll. Now, the other thing is that it does help along the way to let you know that we do have a good percentage of our students are first-time freshmen. A majority, actually almost close to 60% of our students are first-time freshmen. Around 40+% are transfer students. So we do tell students there are different pathways to get to us, and it's very important for you to know your pathway, and knowing your pathway will play a big role, in how to get to your career goal. So check out the resources on our website. There's a tremendous amount of resources there. Look them up. We're here for you if you have questions. I put in the link there so that you can find your major and schedule an appointment with a counselor, so you can learn a little bit more about your particular major if you're interested in. But if anything, I would advise you to attend our open house. Maybe you're going to listen to other students that are there. That we're well, I'm not going to give too much information, but we do have student panels, and we have financial aid resources. We even have an online learning our chief information officer is going to go do a presentation on online learning, and it's going to be a great event. So check it out. Participate in those events, because you're only going to learn more about your university than just saying, oh, I'm just going to go to Fresno State. No, I'm going to go to Fresno State informed.
And Jesse, I understand at the open house, and we'll go to that link at the end, towards the end. But there's 2 special guests that are going to be there, correct?
Yep, that's right. Yeah, that's right.
One with
2 special guests.
Yeah, one with 4 legs, right?
That's right. Victory, man. I love Victory. Victory Bulldog. Yeah, that's our boy.
Yeah, he's going to be there with the president and so forth. By the way, our Fresno State gear is 5th in the state in sales and 59th in the country in sales. That's how popular we are. And we both recruit. I know, Jesse, you recruited in Chicago. You recruited in on the East Coast. I can't remember all the places you've been to.
Yeah.
But we always see Fresno State gear.
That's right.
Coming up to I know, it's really fun. It's
really it is. Fun. I was a funny story. So here's this kid from Visalia, right? I always tell students I wasn't the best 100% student, like straight A student or anything like that. I was kind of middle of the pack, right? I had, enough to get through, 3.0, just enough to get through. And I get this job, and one of my first assignments is to go to Chicago, and I go to Chicago to recruit, and I'm getting on the airplane, and everyone's like, seeing my Fresno State gear, and, they're just smiling, kind of nodding. And then I get to the TSA, and everybody's like, oh man, TSA. And I'm like that too. I'm like, oh, here we go, TSA, here we go. And the TSA agent's like, go Dogs. Look, here I am at Chicago O'Hare Airport, right? The largest airport in the country. And the TSA's telling me, go Dogs. So excited. He was an alum from Fresno State, actually. And then I get on the airplane, and then a parent sees my shirt, sees the Bulldog, right? I'm wearing a Bulldog hat similar to this. And she sees my shirt, Fresno State. She comes up to me on the airplane and is saying, and here's a flight from Chicago to LA. And she's like, oh my gosh, my son's a student at Fresno State right now. What a small world. And I'm like, yes, it is a small world. Amazing. And so we had a nice conversation about Fresno State on our flight back. But you never know. There's alumni all over the place. We have over almost 200,000 alumni all across the country, all over the world. I better say that, because we do have, ministers and from different parts of the world that are and government officials that are leading their countries, and they're from the Fresno area. So, or excuse me, from Fresno State's alumni population. So I tell students, you never know where you'll find someone and that has been connected to Fresno State. There's always some sort of connection to the Valley, and that's because our community is global. Our community is very much a global community.
I think I was in Dallas once, and there's a big college fair, and actually it was Houston, and I had 3 other CSUs who remain nameless but very popular, and we were saying, how many inquiries did you get? We got 63. We got 69. Oh, we beat you. We had 70. And they said, Fresno State, what did you get? And I said, oh, let me check. 400. So it's very popular. You mentioned you grew up in Visalia, and so this is a personal question. Did you have any hesitation in going to college? Was there any fear? Was there any unknowns, or did you just want to go and busted right in? What did you do?
Yeah, no, definitely some hesitation. It is a little scary situation, right? Like it's, how do you apply? So back then, the application was a little different, but still, it's a little scary. You have to fill out the application, make sure that everything's filled out correctly. Make sure, did I even meet the A through G requirements? The questions that I know some of you may be, asking yourself, do I have all the A through G requirements? Do I have enough to get into that university? And then, one thing that I always tell students as well is that it's one thing to get into the university. It's the next thing to get out, right? And so one thing that I was just focusing on was just getting in. So once I got in, I was like, yeah, I'm great. And then I remembered, well, where am I going to live? Right? Like where am I going to live? Who do I live with? Do I know anybody that's going there? And being the only one that's going first in my family to go to college, I didn't know who to really turn to, and I went to Dog Days. I saw a buddy, and he's like, hey, I found a place to stay, eventually. But we had dorms. I missed the deadline for dorms, that's why I tell all my students, don't miss a deadline if you can, because don't miss a deadline, because it's so important to get your housing, right? The other thing is your financial aid. That was scary, because now I had to ask my parents, their financial situation, right? Their income, and will I even qualify, right? And so those are things that you may want to, start writing down, like, okay, I have to get my parents' income. I have to fill out the FAFSA. I even have some students, that I talk to, they're like, well, I'm not going to fill out because I know I don't qualify. I'm like, still apply, because you just never know. Sometimes it's a scholarship that just says you have to have a FAFSA on file. There's like all kinds of different things now that I'm aware of that I can share with all my students that I may have not have been aware of. So I say, that's why I say, speak with a counselor, connect with a counselor, because they may have some great and valuable information for you, or put you in contact with somebody who does. So my hesitation was that, of course, leaving the nest, leaving family, behind a little bit. That's definitely a big one. But knowing that I wasn't going too far, it really did help as well. One other thing I always tell students is that, yeah, paying for college is so important. Okay. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. It's, it is kind of pricey. It is, but I can tell you that Fresno State is amongst the most affordable CSUs out of all the 23 campus system in the entire state. So we actually graduated. We're ranked 6th in the least debt, right? And so in the least amount of debt. So many of our students, upwards to 80% of our students receive some type of financial aid funding. So it's really important that you do fill out your FAFSA, get that in by March 2nd. You do apply for scholarships. If you're interested in the Smith-Camp Family Honors College, that's a $6,000 scholarship that you may be eligible for. Look into that. There's a webinar tomorrow. You can go on our website. You can go to Smith-Camp website and register for that. And Dr. Attar goes over all of the application and what they look for and so forth. So again, check that out. Again, the resources are there. It's just a matter of you, reaching out and kind of shying away from and telling yourself not to do something and actually going out and doing it. So that was some of the things that I remember. And then also remember this, okay, you are paying for college. You're paying for college, but you're also paying to live too. All right. So you got to remember that, you do need to buy, shampoo, and you need to buy clothes, right? You need to buy school supplies. You need to buy these little extra things. So I tell students, when you're looking for, when we get back onto campus, looking for on-campus jobs, working with our Career Services Center, working within our community, we have the campus point right near on campus. Right on our campus, actually. We have the theater, we have the Save Mart Center, we have a few others. So they love to hire students as well. So, those are things that made me a little hesitant. Like, how do I get these things readily available for me so that I feel more safe in making this decision. So, but those are all little things that I didn't think about back then as much. Especially right now, getting ready just to apply and get in, that's like enough, pressure already. But now I having learned from it, I share that with you guys all, share this with all of you.
Thank you. Now, I know you were part of your work in the past few years actually increased the number of students transferring from COS and also applying from the Visalia Unified School District and adjacent districts, because you were the South Valley representative for many years, and we had so much of a increase that we established our campus there.
That's correct.
And can you speak about the offerings at our Visalia campus?
Yeah. So our dean, actually, even our provost, previous provost, who's now the president over at Cal State University Bakersfield, assisted at the launch of the Fresno State Visalia campus. We've always had like a little area for Fresno State classes there for many of our South Valley students, but the current dean there in Visalia is Dr. Dean Luz Gonzalez. And actually Dean Gonzalez is actually from Orosi, which is not Orosi, Cutler, the Tulare County region there in that area. And so she's the dean there at the Visalia campus. She's been higher ed educator for over 30 plus years. Amazing individual. So she's really helped help launch a lot of programs down in Visalia, and it's getting better every year, it feels like. And so we are able to now have we actually have a facility there now. We have a Fresno State Visalia campus, an actual Fresno State Visalia campus. They're in Visalia, right across from the COS campus. And so students are able to take courses there, whether they're a Fresno State student and they live in Visalia, so they don't have to commute as far. There's not a whole lot of classes offered, primarily are what are called upper division general education classes that are offered there. But we do offer some programs that are available. And one of them is the accelerated business bachelor's, bachelor's in business administration degree, which are other known as ABBA. That's one program that's offered, but typically that program is available to students who are like transferring from COS to Fresno State, and they want an accelerated option to finish their degree, or they attended somewhere else, they didn't quite finish their degree and they want to go into business, and then that's one great place to start. The other program that I've had a lot of I've sat in many meetings, a lot of resources, built a lot of advising tools, work with community members, has been the South Valley Integrated Teacher Education Program. And that's the ITEP with our Department of Liberal Studies. We actually offer a bachelor's degree there in liberal studies, and where you can get your bachelor's degree and your credential at the same time. That program, we work collaboratively with Porterville College, COS, and West Hills Lemoore. And that program is designed for students that are transferring to Fresno State. So they started at the community college, those community colleges, and are looking to transfer to Fresno State and stay in Visalia or in Tulare or Kings County. So that program, we work with several school districts and partnerships with school districts so that students can finish their student teaching there. And eventually that leads to a role in getting jobs there in their prospective districts, in their communities, you know, whether that's in Visalia Unified or Hanford Joint or Tulare Joint Unified or Porterville Unified or Lindsay Unified. Primarily Visalia Unified has been a big partner in all of this. So we're really excited with that. And every day, you know, I'm meeting with students that are interested in that program. So it only going to enhance the teachers that you already have at your schools, but also enhance the teachers there in the community that we have in the Kings and Tulare County region. So the ITEP programs offered there, they're looking to, they're now offering the RN to BSN program there at the Visalia campus. And there is some exploration on some possible programs like in criminology down the line in the future as well. So there's different types of programs that they're looking to offer, but more importantly, just know that there are classes that you could possibly take later on, maybe not so much early on, but probably later on at the Visalia campus. So I'm the rep there. Most students will come in and meet with me and schedule appointments with me to ensure that they take all the right classes so that they can attend there at the Visalia campus.
So Jesse, on the screen for a while, it's been the schools and colleges. Can you explain how this works at a university?
Absolutely. So when you apply to Fresno State, you're going to pick a major, right? And those majors will fall under one of these schools and colleges. We actually have 4 endowed colleges where you look at the first name, you know, the Jordan College, Craig School, Lyles, right? And Kremen, right? These are schools and colleges that are endowed. So the large sums of money were donated, and we named the schools after them. But and we greatly appreciate their support. So these colleges is basically these colleges house your particular major. So if you're interested in, let's say, animal science, let's say, then you would be in the Jordan College of Agricultural Sciences and Technology. If you're interested in, you know, I heard pre-med, right? So biology, let's say, then you're in the College of Science and Mathematics. That would be your college. And within that college, you have majors and you have programs. So you have the major, and there's certain programs that may be available to help you, again, talk about resources and support, right? Research centers, things like that are housed in those colleges to better assist their students for that college. So that's kind of how schools and colleges are composed and created for students. So you will all have one particular college, regardless of your major. You'll always have a college assigned to you.
Okay. Jesse, we're nearing the end, and I was wondering if you could share the open house flyer and, again,
Absolutely.
how to make an appointment with us.
Absolutely. So let's go ahead and let me share my screen here.
Okay,
so
good.
You're going to go up here. You're going to click on, you're going to search, go to Fresno State. To FresnoState.com. You click on go to FresnoState.com. It's going to take you to our homepage. If you need help with the application, click on our application workshops, register today, and you're going to get a list of, under October, you're going to get a list of all these workshops. So let me take you there really quickly. And then you click on October, all these workshops will be here. We actually have several workshops. We have one today, actually at 3:30. So if you need help with the application, check us out. You need help on the 30th as well. Maybe today doesn't work. Maybe Friday works better for you at 3:30. Go ahead and register here. And we'll be happy to help you. Remember, I mentioned Smith-Canton Family Honors College, Smith-Canton Family Honor College, 6 p.m. to 7 p.m. this Thursday, which is tomorrow. Register here, and we'll send you a link, and you get a lot of great information from Dr. Attar. Okay, so with that, we also have the Fresno State Virtual Open House. Great information here. Click on this link here. It's going to take you to our landing page. Register for this event. I'm telling you right now, you're going to get a lot of great information. So we encourage you to register for this event. It's only going to be a few hours of your time. The sessions are going to go quick. They're only 30-minute sessions, but a lot of great information in 30 minutes. And you get to meet our special guests, our Victory and Bulldog. And also you can say hello to Dr. Castro. He'll be there, I believe, as well. So another great resource, if you're still kind of not too sure, you're not on the fence about Fresno State, click on the Explore Fresno State page. And this information is kind of like your one-stop shop. You can check out a little video. You can check out virtual appointments, request more information. Matter of fact, I encourage all of you, if you're not haven't done this, go on here and check this out. Go on here and put Fresno State down, request more information. We're going to create a personalized page for you here. Okay, and this personalized page is going to have information about your major, financial aid, apply now. You're going to have all this great information here for you to help you with this whole process. Okay, so I encourage you to check this out. You'll get your own personalized page to Fresno State. Request more information. Explore, again, go to Explore Fresno State, and then you can find all the information you need all on one page. Little quick facts about Campus Point. I talked about the Save Mart Center. We talked about financial aid. We talked about tuition. Our social media is all in here. We're pretty active on social media as well. Some pride points that you heard us talk about earlier. Over 300 clubs and organizations for you to check out as well. It's all in here for you to check out. Virtual appointments. So if you want to request an appointment, click on Request an Appointment. Our Application Help Center as well. If you're interested in this, we have an Application Help Center. Freshman application guide. If you need help, more information about these personal information, click there. But our application help center takes you straight to the website. But this is a big one for many students right here. So if you are interested in speaking with one of us, by major, you just click on the major and, there's that unique major, biomedical physics. And then you just click on this link, schedule your appointment now. And you can confirm your appointment with us, and we'll be happy to walk you through either the application or walk you by answering any of your questions for majors as well. So we have a ton of information here, but I really, really encourage you, please go to our website, lots of great info. You can check out these. These are all our customer service awards from our Live Chat Now service center. You can actually start a conversation with one of our with our admissions office right here. And they'll be able to guide you and assist you as well. So we have best customer service. We have great resources, great staff to help you out. So forms, everything is all on here. Take a virtual campus tour if you'd like. After you apply, you're probably wondering, well, what do I do after I apply? Click right here, Bulldog Next Steps for first-time freshmen after I've applied. And this kind of guides you as to what you need to do next. We have some great tutorials as well. So you click on how to create your account, how to check your application status, important info, transcript status, how to accept my admission when that time comes, woohoo, celebrate. And then you also register for dog days, okay? First-time freshman is, this is your future freshman here. This all has all the important information about Fall 21, CSU eligibility requirements. I have applied Next Steps, again, same thing, Next Step tutorials. Admission selection. So if you click on CSU eligibility requirements, it has a lot of great information on how we're going to admit students this year. The big key number for many of you is a 2.5 or higher for many of our majors. Okay, that's just a minimum to apply. So read these questions in bold. A lot of great info. When in doubt, you can download the admissions guide. I'll actually put this on our chat here in a minute. And you can download this admissions guide, and you can I'll put that on there for you guys so you can download. This admissions guide has a lot of great information as well. Checklists, what you should do in the fall, what you should do in the spring, a little bit more information about what dog days and what dog days is all about. There's a lot of great stuff in here for you. The cost, tuition cost, all the majors are in here as well. So encourage you to check out our website, okay?
Okay. Jesse, I want to thank you for all your knowledge and sharing this information with us. It's very fun to work with Jesse because he has so much information. And take a look at this website. He's the one that actually put it together, so he knows based on what students' needs are. So take a look at us. I want to thank you for joining us today, Jesse.